Hi, it's Jez here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. It's Wednesday, so junk journal video, and I've made a little ephemera holder. It's not quite 6 inches wide, and I've made up lots of these little embellishments from kits, and I was kind of forgetting where I put them, and then I had them all in a box, and then I was rummaging, I couldn't find them, and I thought I need something to put them in. So I thought, oh, let's make a little ephemera folder. I've made ephemera folders before, but bigger ones. So I just wanted something tiny for these little bits of, you know, embellishments that I've got from digital kits. So they're easy for me to find. And these are the latest ones that I've done. So I just put a little paper clip in there and bunged them in here. And they're all then ready for me to use, and I've already found it really, really useful, because when I made this, up until about 5 minutes ago, I thought, oh, I need to decorate it. So I thought, oh yeah, the ephemera's in there, I'll just get it decorated with what's in there. So really, really simple to make. And what I've used is these paper sandwich bags you get from Tesco's. Somebody posted them on, I think it was Tracy Fox group, and I thought, oh, gonna have to get those. And yeah, we went to Tesco's last week. I've lost my days, and so I had a little look out for them. So you get 30 bags, and it's £2, and bargain. And they're made of this unbleached greaseproof paper, so they're really nice. They'd be excellent for putting your sandwiches in. They're gusseted, so they're really nice and big, which is why they'd be excellent for sandwiches. So I was thinking of ways of using them, and I tried all sorts of ways. So I've done a lot of experimenting. So my first thought was I just wanted them to go between pages in a journal, but that gusset kind of, oh well, I didn't like it. So I came up with some different ideas. So in this one, because when you cut off the bottom, it becomes like a tube, and so the gussets are exposed. So I folded it down like that, so you've got some upper tucks, and then folded that one down so you've got like a little pocket. So I thought that would work quite nice in a journal. Oh, I was doing some jelly printing, so I had this scrap and just sort of used up some of the ink that was still left. Quite like that. Now and then this one I decided to cut the gusset out, which is why I've got some extra bits, and I didn't cut it out the other. Well, actually, because what I did was I glued the gusset together, but I needed to actually glue it to the side, really, because that's just an annoying flap. So then when I went to the other side, I glued it down. Thought that's not bad. This one, I opened it all up and I cut off one of the gusset, because when it's opened wide, it's even wider, which is just too wide. So I just cut one off, but I'm thinking that might be too big. And then what I did was, I don't know why I haven't got the other one. I don't know where it's gone. I think I've put it in my journal. So then what I did was I opened them up, cut off both, trimmed down both gussets. So that's where these little offcuts come from. And I made 2 bags. So I just, I then sort of split them down the centre. You've got a seam, and created 2 little bags with them. Probably easier if I show you. For this project that I'm going to make today, I left them as they were. Oh, that's another one. So that's what the bags look like when they're cut down, and I just put a little bit on that. So that makes it a nice size for going in your journal. Okay, so what I did was I took my bag. The bags measure, they got the measurements here on the centimetres, 21 centimetres by 14 centimetres, and then it's 9 centimetres deep with the gusset. But what happens when you trim it off. So I just put it on there and I just trimmed a smidge. Technical term there. Just trimmed a smidge. So there we go. That's a smidge. And so then what you end up with is that. So I've just opened it right out. And you can see you've got quite a lot. It's really nice, just unbleached tracing paper, and it's got a lovely feel. So that was, you've got quite a nice shape there. So that was one way I did. And so what I did was slice down either side and then joined that as one pocket, made a seam. The other way was to undo this seam and it really does just undo quite easily. She said as soon as I said that, it then ripped. Which is typical. Anyway, now it's ripping. Thanks for that. You might be a bit careful. I'm just not wishing to take up too much time because I want to get on with making the ephemera folder. So then we had that. So then all I did was fold it in half. And then just use a ruler there. And then use that to create 2 bags. So I just glued them together. I made it a little bit more central. Probably an iron would be a good idea at this stage. So sort of find the centre. It's not far from that centre line. And then glued those bits up together. I think I used a little bit of tape, but there we go. I'll just use a little bit of glue. A little bit of glue up there. A little bit of glue on this inside. Didn't have too much at the top, I trimmed it down. So that way you get 2 bags out of one. Makes them quite small bags, but didn't really mind that. And then I just trimmed it down. You could just trim, where's my scissors? You could just trim that edge and have a bit of an opening. Taper that end there like before, so it matches the other side. So you've got a little bit of an opening there, and then fold it in half, and then that could go in a journal page like that with 2 pockets, and you'd get 2 from one sheet. The other way I did it was, these are the gussets. Imagine that's still on there. And then I just trimmed down, leaving about 1/2 inch. So I trimmed down both sides, so you had a top and a bottom. And then I just glued these together like a seam if you were sewing. And then you get a bag that is the width of the bag, but without the gussets. And then you have these to play with. And I said, get the iron out, and you'd just trying to find that version of the bag. And then, yeah, so you'd end up with like 60. There we are. So that's what I did there to form that. I didn't do it on the other side, but you do end up with a bag that size. It's quite cute. So now I've got lots of things. So I think there's lots of different possibilities. But, and my other thoughts was you could do it, stick it on a page. So you'd have pockets on a page. You could have one there, one there, one there, and one behind, which I thought was quite cool. So I say oodles of possibilities. But for this project, I just used 2 bags as they were. 2 bags as they were, and you get lots of pockets. So we've got 1 pocket, 2 pocket, 3 pocket, 4 pocket, 5, 6, 7. 7 pockets with just 2 bags. So I did trim the tops down so that we didn't have this overlap. That's the only bit of trimming on the bag that I actually did. So I just measured it up on my trimmer so it was on the line, and then took it off. So the tops were like that. Didn't cut off the other side at all. So this is extremely easy. So the bags, I work in inches, measure 5 5/8 in width. Okay, and so now that they're trimmed off, they're sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 1/4 tall ish. Okay, I'm going to leave my trimmer there because I want it in a minute. I keep those because you never know. And then I took a 6x6 bit of scrapbook paper that I had. This is a Stampin' Up one. This was B&M one, I think. So it's quite thick. I think this is 200 GSM. This is quite thick. I don't think it's quite 200 GSM, but I think a thicker one is better than a thinner one because you want it to be robust. So this is 6x11. So I'm going to trim it down to it's 6x12. I'm going to trim it down to 11. So you could use, if you use like digital printouts and you print it onto your normal sort of copy of paper, I say I would use a thicker copy of paper, then you can still do it. And obviously I won't be chucking that. This has got a really lovely floral pattern on the other side, which I love, but for junk journaling I like this. And then I'm trimming this down to 5 3/4 because that's a bit wide as it is in terms of the margin you get, so I wanted to trim it down a tad. So trimming that down to 5 3/4. And that gives us a nice, just a tiny little margin on either side. That, even for me, is probably too small, so I will chuck that. Okay, now I'm going to get my scoreboard for the next bit. You could fold it, you could eyeball it and fold it if you want, but I like a bit of accuracy when I'm making stuff like this. So I haven't got my bone folder. What am I like? Right, so I'm just gonna, because it might, if you don't, depending on what you cut off the bottom, will actually depend on what the next sort of size is. So I'm going to use a bone folder and give this a good fold. I've just realised I do want to cut the bottom off. What a wally. You do cut a smidge off the bottom because you need to open it. So that means that crease is going to be different. I do apologise for that. So just a little smidgy smidge off the bottom, because as I say, you do want to open the top. Brain fog, brain fog. I am not firing on all cylinders yet. And I did read an article and it was saying that some people feel the effects of COVID for like 18 months. Like, really? But then I look at people that are really poorly in hospital on ventilators and I think, actually, I've got off lightly, haven't I? So, not complaining, just telling you why I'm a numpty. So, now, I'm going to give that a nice burnish. Like so, and I'll do the other one in a sec. And that's when I measured. It came out at about 3 3/4, and yes, it has. About 3 3/4. So, let me now. Recrease this, and that's about the same. It's just a little bit under 3 3/4, but they are roughly about the same. So just realize it's going to come round because it, oh no, it is going to be right. So this top edge of the paper is going to be stuck to the front bit of the bag. So I want to crease there where the front bit of the bag is. So I need my stylus. I haven't brought it with me. I'm just going to bring my pot of utensils that moves from filming desk to real desk. Normally I do junk journals on my real desk, but yeah, I didn't today. So 3 3/4. So that is what's going to get glued on there. Then I want a little bit of gap at the bottom, so I wanted a bit of yeah, 1/4 inch. So then I'm going at 4, and then my next one is going to be 7 3/4, which brings us to the top here. But I've created this sort of curvature because obviously this is going to grow. So then from 7 3/4 all the way up to 9 3/4, I'm going to score at every 1/8, and that is what allows the card to sort of bend over. So I sort of allowed a sort of a 2 inch for it to bend over. So all the way up there. And then you've got a little sort of flatter edge bit. Okay, so that is the sort of shape that you're going to have. Okay, and then I'm just going to burnish these 2 crease lines. Like so. And then these will just curl over. You don't have to crease them at all. Okay, so what I did on this one is I used my big bite and cut a hole. So you would cut a hole down here to put that in, but you might not have a big bite. So I'm going to do this one in an alternative way, just in case you haven't got a big bite. So move that out of the way a minute, because that will just get knocked by my elbow and it will be gone. So let's get these glued together first. So we are going to glue just down the edges so that that is a pocket on the inside. So we're going to do that on both. So I'm just doing a really tiny bead of glue. I'm using Collall glue here. Use whatever glue you like. But this is quite a nice sort of strong glue. it's not water-based, so you don't get any wrinkles. And then just press that down. And I say I do love the crinkly sound that you get from this paper. And then we'll do the same on this one. So some pockets are going to have gussets and some aren't. So you're going to have some pockets where you can put stuff in quite a lot and some pockets where you can't, which I think is useful. I've got loads of stamps, and so this would be quite good for stamps. And you could always put labels on them to say what's in them. That's just a little bit too organised for me. The fact that I'm actually doing this is astonishing, rather than just the heap of a mess that I normally have. So I'm just making sure that that glue hasn't overlapped and caused these bits to stick together. There we go. That's fabulous. So we've got one pocket, little narrow pocket there, and a pocket there, and the same on this one. Just checking the glue. I did on my last one. I managed to stick them. Put too much glue and it oozed. Where are we? In there. Yeah, that one glued a little bit. There we go. So we have our front pocket. We have our little middle pocket. Reminds me of that little one in the middle of your purse. And that one. So then we want to glue these together. And of course we want pocket on the inside as well. But we need to glue on the bottom as well. So we're going to glue on 3 sides of this one. And I don't know if you're like me, I love making my own storage, because then it's exactly what I need. It's made to my specifications. It's the right size that I want, and it's cheap. These bags, £2 for 30. Scrapbook paper, I've got shed loads. I could wallpaper my house in DSP, literally. So we were talking about that the other day, actually, on one of the groups I'm in. So basically it's cost me, well, it's cost me nothing. I'm using 2 bags, so can't remember what, I'm not even beginning to work out what they cost a bag, but it's pennies, absolutely pennies. So I've now got my pocket there, little pocket there, the pocket there that I've now just created, another one there, that one there, that one there. Fantastic. So you just have to check with using that you haven't stuck any of these gusseted sides together. And that one needs to glue. That is the actual pocket, Jez. So your next job then is to stick it to there. So I just stuck it to the inside of there and then to the back side. So I'm going to use my bigger pot that comes out quicker. So I got these Sugar Bell ones, but it's still got the collal. They both got collal in them. Just going to put the lid on that. It's got gunge on there. I'm terrible for remembering to put the lid on. There we go. Stick that out the way. So this is better for bigger surfaces. It comes out a bit quicker. And you haven't clogged the end up, which I have done. Oh, Jezebel. There we go. I don't put a pin or anything in this. I just find, like I've just done then, I can just easily pick the bit of, this is another reason why I like Collall glue, because it just like forms at the end. You just pick it off. Job's a good one, ready to go. So I'm going to stick that on the inside. Such pretty paper. I always think when you've got double-sided paper and both sides are really nice, I always think it's a shame to cover up. But I love that. And I've made so many things with that, so I've got other projects with that, so I'm not altogether bothered. I can see it on other projects that I've made. So there we go. I'm just going to put my bone folder down there to make sure it's stuck. Lovely jubbly. And then do the same on this. Put my glue on there. And I'm sure if you don't have a Tesco's anywhere near you, you could do this with other bags. Just use what you've got. Right, fold that up. Just stick down. It is upside down on the back, but it's all right at the front. So that's the other thing. If you're bothered about that, don't use a directional sheet of paper or cardstock or whatever. I wouldn't use paper, but you know what I mean. Unless you're printing it on thick paper, then you'll be all right. So that's it. So we've got all our pockets there nicely. That's sticking there. We don't want that to stick there. So 1, 2, 3, 1 in there, 4, 5, 6, 7 pockets all together. And once they're stuffed with stuff, they fall out quite nicely. That just stuck a little bit there on the top where it oozed. There we go. Little bit of powder on there, that will work. It will probably rub off actually in a bit. So there is all our lovely pockets. So now a closure. So I am going to use my a hole punch, but not my big bite. So you might have a hand hole punch. You might have a crocodile like me. So I want that to go up a bit further. There. Going to go about 3/4, I think. What did I do on that one? Because that was quite a nice. Oh, I went up about 1 inch, so I went up a full inch. So don't need to fasten it then, do I? So I'm eyeballing for where the centre is. I might go 3/4 on this one. She says, and didn't actually. I struggle with these screws. There. Oh, it's still blooming moving. There we go. Probably, if I cut my nails, it'll be all right. There we go. So eyeballing for about the centre. Measure if you're bothered. I'm not bothered. And then I thought that was quite a nice match. So I'm going to do I did 2 circles. Don't know if you need to do 2 circles, but I've got a 3/4 inch circle punch here. Cut it out to make my probably one would be enough. I kind of did it so that the twine went in between the 2 of them. Thought it might give it a little bit of extra strength. Don't really know if it does or whether one would be enough. I'm still sort of learning with these things, but I just quite liked having the 2. And then we need an eyelet, which I've got to the side here. My eyelets, I've got hundreds of them. There we go. And these came with the little back things, and I kind of thought, what a waste of time. But I thought I could use them with magnets, and then I only need to use 1 magnet. When I buy magnets and I do magnetic holders, I thought, oh, I wonder if the magnets would stick to it. They might not. I haven't actually tried it out, to be fair. Right. Stick that down. Oh, for goodness sake, Jezebel. There we go. Through there. Through there. Marvellous. And then we just use this. Love this. Had it years. Had it years. And I say for my birthday in November, I got a big bite, which I love too. So there we go. Now, I used baker's twine on it, and I've got this baker's twine, which I thought would be a great colour to go with that. That's cinnamon cider. This is pumpkin pie. But I thought it was a good match. I might just colour it a little bit. My thoughts. Now this has got to, because I haven't put one down there, this has got to go all the way around and wind round, and I'm going to allow it to sort of open a bit and then go round a few times. So I'm going to cut about that much off. So the length you need is about that much. Oh, what's that? I don't know, 18 inches, something like that. That is probably about enough. And then just going to get a little bit of this, and I'm going to just take a bit of that orange away, and then it looks a little bit more like the colour of the card I've used. Maybe it doesn't matter, but I quite like doing this sort of thing. There we go. Going to leave it at that. And then just going to wind this round here. So I kind of put it through in between. Now I have done this in the past where I've then sort of tied it to hold it in place, but I do actually find that it kind of stays in place anyway. So tying is not necessary, I don't think. So push that around. And then this can just go around and then attach there. And it's like a little attaché case. I've made a bigger version of this using envelopes, which will be in my playlist somewhere. but it's really nice to have this little mini version. And then I just decorated it up. So this, I used some of the Artie Mays sort of digital kit. So I kind of now know that in here are those things. And that was the thing, I thought you could decorate it in a way that shows you what's in it. And I want to put sort of little stamps and things in it. And I've kind of, there's some that I've sort of made myself using some Stampin' Up stuff. I thought I could decorate with this. I've got some doilies there. I think this was avocado dyed, which is a really good colour for that, but it's getting a bit lost, so not sure. This was a bit of napkin decoupage stuff that I did, which is quite nice. And then I remembered I've made my own digitals, and I quite like some of the stamps on this, and these are probably what I will cut up and keep in here. So that was my thoughts. Quite like that colour, quite like that stamp, and I quite liked that ticket. So I'm just going to cut those up and get them all inked and ready. So before I cut these out, I just wanted to show you what I was doing there. So this is my favourite script from Very For Sign. I just added some early espresso to give it some little interest there. These are some button dies that I had already, and I've already got that sort of printed on there. So to give this sort of stamped look, so you can see these have been punched out with my postage stamp punch. And although it's that size, I do actually use it on the edge of stamps, and it can give that little edge to it. These were images that I found, and they're in the public domain, so okay to use and print off. So it's quite happy about that. I have got shed loads of stamps, but so yeah, so that is how I get a nice postage stamp edge by using this punch, which I love. Some people have scissors that have this effect. I don't have any, don't need them. Got this, so it's left a bit. The only annoying thing about this image that I found is it has got a black edge, but there you go. So I just need to ink these up a little bit. And we're ready to just make little clusters. And I did it at the opposite sides. I thought that was cute and worked well. Do like the colour of that with that. I think that works well too. So get rid of some of my rubbish. Let's have a little look at what we're going to do. So got these tickets. So that's both sides of the ticket. So I might use the one with the red on up there and the back down there. Got my little stamp. Going to make the top and the bottom slightly different. Might cut that in half. And then have a bit of that underneath. Liking the look of that. I kind of do the same down here. I might Might have that like that. Quite like that as a cluster. And then I can decide whether or not I want to use those buttons. So stick that stamp on there. I usually think of 3 when I'm doing sort of clustery things. Oh, that's but yes, no, this is a little bit more than 3, but I think it kind of works. Do I want that there like that? And then just stick the whole lot in that corner. And then it's something pretty and vintagey looking to have wherever I decide to keep it. To be fair, it'll probably just be randomly on my desk. Let's undo it. Could have rounded the corners, but I didn't. So yeah, yes, I say it'll probably just stay on my desk. And just looking for me a little bit of baby white that's dried out. Push that down. Liking how that looks. And then up in this corner, we're going to put these like so. Yep, I think that'll work. Might put that way up because then the words are in the right direction. So this is from a project I made ages ago, and they were just the offcuts. You can just see a bit there. Ripped it off thinking I was going to use the other end. There we are, all done. This is not an instant stick glue. It does take a little bit, but don't mind. I don't really mind. Oh, I'm gonna stick that over there actually. Then we can see a little bit of it. Yep, we'll have him there. And that's that. So, hope you're enjoying my junk journals videos. I say I have increased them now. So, Saturday I'll bring you some more things to do with my Vintage Days journal. Wednesdays I thought would just be other things. I thought that sort of worked quite well. Don't actually like that colour now, so I'm not going to put that on. But now what I've got is somewhere to put some of the ephemera that I've sort of made and then not really done much with, and I'm going to cut up all my little digitals that I've made. So I've got loads and loads of these postage stamps that I made up, so they can go in the front there. Got some clusters that I made using sort of book pages and things, so you can stick them in there. And then well, might be a good place for my doilies that I have coloured with avocado. So I might stuck that there nicely in the middle, flat one. And then I'm going to cut up those other embellishments, and they will go in here nicely. I think I need a little bit of glue on that corner. This was a book page covered in a doily, so it's actually quite thick. There, that'll be better. And there they are. There's my little ephemera folders. Do like them. Like them a lot. So if you make them, do show me. I'd love to see them. I do have a Facebook group. Nigezza Creates Crafty Place. And so you can go on there and show me things. Awful lot of different paper crafting and other crafting on there. A lot of Stampin' Up, because I do a lot of Stampin' Up, but also people are sharing other things as well, and I share all of these things as well. So love to see what you do. All right, so I will have some close-up pictures over on my blog, nigezza.co.uk, and be a link to my shop for any of the Stampin' Up products that I've used. If you wish to purchase, this paper's retired, you can't get that, but there you can see this was thicker card, so it domes more than this. This was not quite as thick, so that's sort of like a difference that you get. And I might have used, I think I kept that one at 12 inches. So that's another reason. I cut this down to 11, just to show if you've got 11 by 8.5 printouts, that you can still make it with that. Okay, bye for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.